Question 1. What do you need before you can legally use a motor vehicle on the road? A. An appropriate driving license. Explanation. Using a motor vehicle on the road illegally carries a heavy fine and can lead to penalty points on your driving license. You must hold a valid driving license for the class of vehicle you're using, be insured to drive the vehicle. If required, the vehicle must have a current MOT test certificate and be taxed for use on the road. Question 2. When must your vehicle have valid insurance cover? D. Before you can tax the vehicle. Explanation. Your vehicle must have valid insurance cover before you can tax it. If required, it will also need to have a valid MOT certificate. You can tax your vehicle online, by phone, or at certain post offices. Question 3. What legal requirement must be met by a newly qualified driver? D. They must have valid motor insurance. Explanation. It's your responsibility to make sure you're properly insured for the vehicle you're driving. This is the case regardless of whether you're a newly qualified driver or one with more experience. Question 4. What's covered by third-party insurance? A. Damage to other vehicles. Explanation. Third-party insurance doesn't cover damage to your own vehicle or injury to yourself. If you have a crash and your vehicle is damaged, you might have to carry out the repairs at your own expense. Question 5. What's the legal minimum insurance cover you must have to drive on public roads? C. Third party only. Explanation. The minimum insurance required by law is third-party cover. This covers your liability to others involved in a collision, but not damage to your vehicle. Basic third-party insurance also won't cover theft or fire damage. Ask your insurance company for advice on the best cover for you, and make sure that you read the policy carefully. Question 6. When must you contact the driver and vehicle licensing agency? DVLA. B. When you change your vehicle. Explanation. DVLA needs to keep its records up to date. It sends out a reminder when a vehicle's tax is due for renewal. To do this, it needs to know the name and address of the registered keeper. Every vehicle in the country is registered, so it's possible to trace its history. Question 7. For how long is a statutory off-road notification SORN valid? A. Until the vehicle is taxed, sold, or scrapped. Explanation. A SORN allows you to keep a vehicle off-road and untaxed. SORN will end when the vehicle is taxed, sold, or scrapped. Question 8. Your car requires an MOT certificate. When is it legal to drive it without an MOT certificate? D. When driving to an appointment at an MOT center. Explanation. When a car is 3 years old, 4 years old in Northern Ireland, it must pass an MOT test and have a valid MOT certificate before it can be used on the road. Exceptionally, you may drive to a prearranged test appointment or to a garage for repairs required for the test. Drive vehicles that are more than 40 years old without an MOT test, but they must be in a roadworthy condition before being used on the road. See gov.uk for more details. Question 9. What's a cover note? B. A document issued before you receive your insurance certificate. Explanation. Sometimes an insurance company will issue a temporary insurance certificate called a cover note. It gives you the same insurance cover as your certificate, but lasts for a limited period, usually 1 month. Question 10. What circumstances require you to notify the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, DVLA? A. When your health affects your driving. Explanation. DVLA holds the records of all vehicles, drivers, and riders in Great Britain and Northern Ireland. They need to know if you have a medical condition that might affect your ability to drive safely. You must tell them if your health deteriorates and you become unfit to drive. Question 11. A police officer asks to see your documents. You don't have them with you. How many days do you have to produce them at a police station? B. 7 days. Explanation. You don't have to carry your vehicle's documents wherever you go. If a police officer asks to see them and you don't have them with you, you may be asked to produce them at a police station within 7 days. Question 12. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driving license for the same category of vehicle for at least 3 years. What other requirement must you meet? B. To be at least 21 years old. Explanation. Learner drivers benefit by combining professional driving lessons with private practice. However, you need to be at least 21 years old and have held your driving license for at least 3 years before you can supervise a learner driver. Question 13. Your car needs to pass an MOT test. What may be invalidated if you drive the car without a current MOT certificate? B. The vehicle insurance. Explanation. If your vehicle requires an MOT certificate, it's illegal to drive it without one, and your insurance may be invalid if you do so. The only exceptions are that you may drive to a prearranged MOT test appointment or to a garage for repairs required for the test. Question 14. When should you update your vehicle registration certificate? B. When you move house. Explanation. As the registered keeper of a vehicle, it's up to you to inform DVLA of any changes in your details, for example, your name or address. You do this by completing and sending off the relevant section of the registration certificate. Question 15. Your insurer will issue you with an insurance certificate. When must you produce this document for inspection? C. When a police officer asks you for it. Explanation. You must produce a valid insurance certificate when requested by a police officer. If you can't do this immediately, you may be asked to take it to a police station. Other documents you may be asked to produce are your driving license and the vehicle's MOT certificate. Question 16. When will a new car need its first MOT test? B. When it's 3 years old. Explanation. The vehicle you drive must be roadworthy and in good condition. If it's over 3 years old, it must pass an MOT test to remain in use on the road, unless it's exempt from the MOT test. See gov.uk. Question 17. Who's responsible for paying the vehicle tax? B. The registered keeper of the vehicle. Explanation. The registered keeper of the vehicle is responsible for paying the vehicle tax or making a statutory off-road notification, SORN, if the vehicle is to be kept untaxed and off the road. Question 18. Question 18. What's a statutory off-road notification, SORN? C. A notification to tell DVLA that a vehicle isn't being used on the road. Explanation. If you want to keep a vehicle untaxed and off the public road, you must make a SORN. It's an offense not to do so. Your SORN is valid until your vehicle is taxed, sold, or scrapped. Question 19. What must you have when you apply to renew your vehicle tax? B. Valid insurance. Explanation. You can renew your vehicle tax online, at post offices, and by phone using the DVLA vehicle tax service. When applying, make sure you have all the relevant valid documents, including a valid MOT test certificate, where applicable. Question 20. What's the maximum fine for driving or riding without insurance? A. Unlimited. Explanation. Driving or riding without insurance is a serious offense. As well as an unlimited fine, you may be disqualified or incur penalty points. Question 21. What must you check before you drive someone else's vehicle? C. That the vehicle is insured for your use. Explanation. Driving a vehicle without insurance cover is illegal, so be sure that whoever's car you drive, you're insured, whether on their policy or on your own. If you need to take out insurance, it's worth comparing several quotes before you decide which insurance provider best meets your needs. Question 22. What does third-party insurance cover? B. Damage to other vehicles. Explanation. Third-party insurance cover is usually cheaper than comprehensive cover. However, it doesn't cover any damage caused to your own vehicle or property. It only covers damage and injury you cause to others. Question 23. What information is found on a vehicle registration document? A. The registered keeper. Explanation. Every vehicle used on the road has a registration document. This shows the vehicle's details, including date of first registration, registration number, registered keeper, previous keeper, make of vehicle, engine size, chassis number, year of manufacture, and color. Question 24. Who's legally responsible for ensuring that a vehicle registration certificate, V5C, is updated? A. The registered vehicle keeper. Explanation. It's your legal responsibility to keep the details on your vehicle registration certificate V5s up to date. You should tell the licensing authority about any changes. These include your name, address, or vehicle details. If you don't do this, you may have problems when you try to sell your vehicle. Question 25. For how long is an MOT certificate normally valid? C. 1 year after the date it was issued. Explanation. Some garages will remind you that your vehicle is due for its annual MOT test, but not all do. To ensure continuous cover, you may take your vehicle for its MOT up to 1 month before its existing MOT certificate expires. The expiry date on the new certificate will be 12 months after the expiry date on the old certificate. Question 26. When could the cost of your insurance be reduced? D. When you complete the Pass Plus scheme. Explanation. The cost of insurance varies with your age and how long you've been driving. Usually, the younger you are, the more expensive it is, especially if you're under 25. Pass Plus provides additional training to newly qualified drivers. The scheme is recognized by many insurance companies, and taking this extra training could give you reduced insurance premiums, as well as improving your skills and experience. Question 27. What does it mean if your insurance policy has an excess of £500? D. You'll have to pay the first 500s of the cost of any claim. Explanation. Having an excess on your policy will help to keep the premium down. However, if you make a claim, you'll have to pay the excess yourself, in this case, $500. Question 28. You've just passed your first practical driving test. What will you have to do if you get 6 penalty points on your license in the next 2 years? B. Retake your theory and practical tests. Explanation. If you accumulate 6 or more penalty points within 2 years of gaining your first full license, it will be revoked. The 6 or more points include any gained due to offenses you committed before passing your test. If this happens, you may only drive as a learner until you pass both the theory and practical tests again.